ever get told, just write down your thoughts, and it feels like the worst advice ever.
Yeah.
Today's deep dive might just explain why we're taking on the unseen struggle. Writing, thinking, and Gestalt language processing in the age of AI.
Okay.
It's an article, a seriously thought-provoking Substack article by Jamie Horrocks.
Right.
And get this, it challenges the very idea of what thinking even looks like for a huge chunk of the population.
It's fascinating how we assume there's just one way
Right.
our brains should handle language, especially something as crucial as writing.
And hold on to your hats, because this deep dive throws AI into the mix. Apparently, a lot of the usual worries about AI and learning totally miss this whole other way of thinking.
Absolutely, and that's where Dr. Jamie Horrocks comes in. Not only are they the author of this article, they're an autistic Gestalt language processor themselves.
Oh, wow.
Plus, they literally wrote the book on this. Holistic Language Instruction.
Okay, so they're not just talking the talk, they're walking the walk.
Right.
What's the main takeaway here?
So Horrocks argues that this whole writing equals thinking thing, it's actually a disadvantage for a huge number of people.
Oh.
The Gestalt language processors, or GLPs.
Hold up,
Yeah.
GLPs.
Yeah.
Don't leave me hanging. What are we talking about here?
Okay, so imagine two people writing an essay.
Okay.
One person's thoughts flow out neatly,
Yeah.
sentence by sentence, like they're outlining in their head as they go.
Right?
That's more of an analytical language processing style, or ALP.
Okay.
But for a GLP, it's totally different. It's like their thoughts are this big interconnected web. And writing means squishing it all into a straight line.
Okay, that makes sense. I know people who can't form a thought until they see it written down,
Right.
and others who are the opposite. The writing is the hardest part.
Exactly. And the article points out something wild. 40% of people might be GLPs.
Whoa.
That's almost half of us who might not learn best through traditional writing-heavy methods.
Wow, 40%. Suddenly, those just write your ideas down, folks, make a lot more sense.
Right.
But this is where it gets really interesting, right? Because this article isn't just about learning styles.
Yeah,
It connects to AI, too.
It does.
Right. Yeah.
So how? So Horrocks brings up another author, John Warner, who's got this book coming out, More Than Words, How to Think About Writing in the Age of AI. Warner's worried that AI writing tools will make students skip the struggle of writing, which he sees as essential for learning.
Which tracks, right. If AI just spits out perfect essays,
Right.
are we really learning?
Right.
But Horrocks takes a different angle entirely.
They point out that for GLPs, that struggle isn't actually about learning the material.
Okay.
It's about forcing their brain to work in a way that isn't natural for them.
Okay.
For them, the real thinking, the hard part, happened way before they even started writing.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So it's not that GLPs aren't thinking deeply, it's that the traditional way of showing your work doesn't capture how their brains are wired.
Exactly. And this is where AI could be a game changer. Instead of being a shortcut that makes us lazy AI, could actually be the bridge that helps GLPs get those brilliant ideas out into the open.
Okay, my mind is officially blown. So instead of replacing thinking AI, could actually help people who think differently to finally have their thoughts understood. Tell me more.
That's exactly what Horrocks suggests. Think about all those tools that AI is getting good at, sentence starters, organizational help, even those paragraph templates. Some people find so limiting for GLP, that kind of scaffolding could be huge EE.
It's like AI could level the playing field, letting GLPs shine in a system that's always favored a different kind of thinking.
Precisely. And the irony is AI might end up being most helpful to the very students who've been underserved by traditional education. It's like this tech has the potential to flip the script on who gets to be considered smart or successful.
That's kind of mind-blowing when you think about it, but this whole time I keep hearing this phrase in the article, neurodominant culture. What does that even mean, and how does it play into this?
It's a term for all the unspoken rules about how we're supposed to think and act. Like, ever been in a meeting where the loudest, fastest talker is seen as the leader, even if quieter folks have great ideas? That's neurodominant culture, favoring one style over others.
And Horrocks is saying that this neurodominant culture often puts GLPs at a disadvantage.
Absolutely, because if we only ever value one way of thinking, we miss out on the incredible insights and talent of everyone else. Imagine all the potential we're squashing by sticking to these narrow definitions of intelligence.
You know what that resonates so much? Have you ever been in a classroom where it felt like your brain just wasn't wired for the way they wanted you to learn? Maybe you aced standardized tests but bombed every essay, or vice versa.
And you start thinking there's something wrong with you.
Exactly. But what if it's not us, it's the system that's limited? That's kind of empowering, actually. It's like we've been playing this game with the wrong set of rules, and AI could be the thing that finally forces us to acknowledge there are other ways to win.
The powerful way to look at it.
Mm.
And Horrocks argues that we need to rethink how we measure intelligence and learning, especially with AI becoming more and more a part of our lives.
Because if we don't, it's just going to reinforce all those old biases, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But here's the hopeful part. Each person listening can be part of changing. That Horrocks has this challenge for everyone, and I think it's brilliant. Next time you encounter a way of thinking that's different from yours, before you judge it, ask yourself, what if this is just a different cognitive style, not a deficiency?
So instead of assuming someone's wrong because they think differently, we should be curious.
Exactly, because their way of thinking might open up whole new perspectives you never even considered. It's like that quote, if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid.
Oof, that hits home. This whole conversation has been so eye-opening. It's like we're on the verge of this AI revolution, but it's also making us rethink everything about how our brains work and how we value different kinds of intelligence.
And that's what makes this such an exciting time to be alive. AI has this potential to either amplify the inequalities we already have or to shatter them completely. It all comes down to how we choose to use it.
That's quite the thought to leave us with. So to everyone listening, if you've ever felt like you didn't quite fit in, like your way of thinking wasn't valued, take heart. The problem isn't you. It might just be the system. Your brain, with all its unique quirks and wiring, might be the key to unlocking amazing things in this age of AI. So keep thinking differently, keep challenging the status quo, and let's build a world where everyone's intelligence gets to shine.